Hello, world. It's your brother Silent Sound tapping in with another episode of the Silent Conversations podcast. As always, we operate under three P's: peace, positivity, and perspective. Today, we're actually going live on Instagram as well, so definitely tap in to the Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, the Silent Conversations podcast on Instagram. Today, the conversation is about the three P's. This is something that I speak about periodically. I wouldn't say periodically. This is something that I discuss on a regular and frequent basis on all of my podcasts because this is a motto that I live by. These three P's, these three words, are the foundation in which I'm able to move forward in life in my self-development journey, and be able to create the reality in which I want to create for my life. So I'm going to break down what these three P's were, and what these three P's are, and also just kind of deep dive into why they hold so much value to me, why I feel like they also are inspirational and valuable to others as well, and just really bring it all home together as well, and be able to share that with the audience and with those who tap in. One of the biggest things about self-development that I like to speak about are the words that we choose. The last episode was speaking about words being powerful and words having power. When you think about the words that you choose in your life, just as a recap of what we spoke about in the last episode, when you think about the word positivity, or you think about the word peace, or you think about the word love, or you think about the word kindness, mercy, grace, gratitude, they all have a certain vibration or emotional feeling that's tied to them that give you a form of life or some form of inspiration that allows you to push forward on your journey. Then you have words such as depression or negativity or hate or anger or sadness. These type of words give you a low vibration. They give you a low sense of being. They bring your self-esteem down, which alters and stunts your self-development. We all grow every day at different pace, but at the same time, our growth can either be in the positive or in the negative. It can be in a form that is making us into a higher or better version of ourselves, or it could be degenerating us or decaying us in the sense of losing ourselves or causing ourselves to go in the opposite direction of growth, in a positive direction. So when I speak about words and the words that I like to choose to keep in my life and keep in the forefront of my mind, the first P that I speak about is peace. The word peace. Peace is a very vital and key element to life. Everyone wants peace. Peace and happiness is a theme that is coded amongst everything that is joyous that we are entertained with. We want to find peace of mind. We want to have peace amongst races, amongst different cultures, amongst countries, amongst lands, amongst nations, amongst religions. We want to be peaceful. Most religions speak of peace as being a mark or an identifying characteristic of those who are chosen by God or protected or loved by God. So we want to make sure that peace is a foundational principle in our life. Peace in your life doesn't come in the form of always glitter and gold and diamonds and happy times, but having peace of mind and being at peace with situations that allows you to tap into who you are and understand and be grateful for who you are and what you've become. But also, it allows you to be conscious in your decision making. It allows you to not become emotional or reaction based or reactionary to what you have going on. It allows you to adjust and respond, calculate, strategize, and plan out so that you can become prepared for what may come to you as what we may feel as a opportunity or as a bad moment or as a situation that may seem overwhelming. If we take out the time to have peace and understand that if we become at peace with the situation, we find peace of mind that gives us the clarity we need to be able to push forward. So peace to me is a very fundamental thing. It comes in so many forms and fashions, but it all has one root. When you think of conflict with another individual, you want peace with that individual. In that, it may mean that you have to forgive. It may mean that you have to take the high road, as they may say. It may also mean that you have to cut that relationship off. It may also mean that you have to adjust the way that you're moving, adjust the way that you may be impacting or influencing the situation that may be detrimental. You may have to take accountability and acknowledge your faults. Acknowledge where you have opportunities to grow, and not just pinpoint where you're affected or offended by actions or offended by certain things that are done to you in those type of relationships or conflicts or misunderstandings. So peace should be the root and should be the goal in all situations, in my opinion, because you want to be at peace with your brother. You want to be at peace with your sister, your friend, your neighbor, strangers alike. You want to be able to be at peace with that, because at no time are you guaranteed to not be dependent on them for anything in life. You never know who you may come across and when you may need to call upon somebody that at one time may have wronged you, one time may have offended you, one time may have blindly hurt you or harmed you. But if you are at peace and make peace with them, then at that point you allow yourself to be in position to be benefited in the future. You allow yourself to allow this person also to grow and be benefited from the situation as well, because you're able to communicate, talk it through, find common ground, come to a peaceful solution. And at that point, you're able to move forward. On the other side of that, in a relationship, you may have to cut them off. So that means that you have to come to peace or come to grips with the fact that this particular person, however much time has been invested, however much money has been invested, however much of yourself has been given, your energy, your soul has been given to the situation and to the situation and to the relationship. It's now time for this relationship to end in order for you both, in order to grow and become who you are. So you both are no longer living in misery or living in depression or in a negative state or low vibrating state. So peace is key. Many of us, we look at the news, we see chaos at all times. We look at Instagram, we look at social media, and all we see is chaos. We see nothing but negativity and slander. We see things that are supposed to entertain us but really rob us of our joy, because it's filtered and saturated with thoughts of those who may not have the same opinion of you, but because we continue to view it, it feeds it more to us. So we live in a world of chaos, or what may be viewed as chaos. So we aren't able to have what we need, which is peace of mind to make rational decisions. Once you're not able to make a rational decision, at that point, you're now making irrational decisions, which could be harmful or detrimental to your growth. Self-development is the key and the basis of what this podcast is for. It's about growing and developing into who you are, identifying and acknowledging who you are now, who you want to be and desire to be, and what the actions are being taken in order to become that, or what actions are being taken that are holding you back from that, changing those and progressing forward. But if you're not able to have a mindset of growth, there's no way you can take the actions that will result into growth. Words have power. Every word started with a thought. The thought is in the mind. So your mindset is key. If your mindset is weak, if your mindset is in a state where it doesn't want to grow, it doesn't want to expand, it doesn't see past tomorrow, it doesn't see past today, it doesn't see past the past traumas that we had, then how do you expect growth to take place? How do you expect thoughts to be able to be created in the mind that are convincing enough that you want to take actions to manifest those thoughts into reality? How do you expect these things to happen? At that point, that would be hypocritical. That would be counterproductive. Everything is a cause and effect. Everything in life started as a action or a ignite or ignition was done in order to create or result into what we want. If you want a tree, you have to plant a seed. Until you plant that seed, nothing will grow. You can hope and wish and pray for things to grow, but unless you plant the seed, water it, nurture it, take action daily and consistently, there's no way that growth can take place. So the same thing goes for us and ourselves. We too must plant the right seeds in our mind. We must make sure that we're taking in and consuming the right entertainment, consuming the right information, consuming the right media. Make sure we're consuming the right foods, consuming the right liquids, so that we can be the best we can be, develop and be who we are. Not to say that anyone is perfect, not to say anyone has it all figured out and makes no mistakes, but it's having the right viewpoint, the right perspective on the right things to be able to identify where opportunities are in order for growth to take place. That's where self-development is rooted in identifying, becoming at peace with yourself, becoming at peace with the fact that this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go, these are the steps that I have to take, these are the actions within those steps that I have to take on a consistent basis in order to move forward to get to this goal. I got to become at peace with that, because the moment that I'm not at peace with it is when the stress comes in. Once you're stressed, that means you're not prepared. That means you were caught off guard. That means you're overwhelmed, which means you didn't put in the right systems in place in order to be better equipped for that. So peace of mind, having peace with each other, having peace with our family, having peace with our neighbors, these things are very vital. And that's why that's the first P to the 3 Ps of my motto. When it comes to having a better day, when it comes to having a better outlook on life, and mainly to have the right model in order for you to self-develop and for me to self-develop and become a better version of myself and the person that I see myself becoming, I have to have peace. I have to move with peace. I have to look and seek peace, because if I'm not, I'm only going to see the chaos. I'm leaving myself to the control of the system that I feel is chaotic. I'm leaving myself to the world that I feel does not have peace, that's not filled with happiness, that's not filled with love, that's not filled with joy. I'm leaving myself open to those things. I'm agreeing and believing that these things are the reality and not the reality in which I believe is true, which is one of love, which is one of peace, which then leads me to the second P, which is positivity. Positivity is very key. Being a positive person is a very key attribute, because if you're not a positive person, how can you expect positive things to happen to you? When you look at philanthropy, I think that's how you say the word. When you look at, being a humanitarian and wanting to be charitable, wanting to give back, the likelihood of individuals who, for the first time, wants to help you or wants to help out or help the needy, they're more likely to help out a person has a positive outlook, a positive demeanor, a positive face, a positive way about themselves. They're showing some type of initiative. They may not have it all figured out, but they're showing some type of initiative. They're appreciative of the things that you may be willing to offer, or even willing to give your time and energy towards them. So positivity could be the difference between getting what you may need and being blessed with something that you never thought that you was going to be able to have at the moment, and not being able to have that. Having a negative outlook, saying, what is this? This is all you can do. Where you been at? Where was you at when I needed this? And that's all I need more than that. When you get into a standpoint of negativity, that's going to now restrict you. It's going to cut you off. It puts a wall up between you and the blessings in which that you wish or pray and dream for, because you're negative. You now push them away. You're repelling them. You see what I'm saying? So when you think about being a magnet, you don't want to be something that repels things from you. You want to attract. Magnets do 2 things. They attract and they repel. So, do you want to repel blessings, or do you want to attract blessings? Do you want to repel the goals that you set for yourself, or do you want to attract the goals to yourself? Do you want to repel the person that may be the one for you, or do you want to You want to attract the person that's one for you. That all is a decision and a choice that we make, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, whether it's subconscious or it's conscious. We have a choice to make, and we make those choices on a regular and voluntary basis based off what we allow or choose to consume. If we consume in positive things, if we're drinking positive water, how can we expect negative results? 1+1 = 2. If you take one positive thing plus another positive thing, there's no way that two positive things can come together and make a negative. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's the old saying. That's the old cliche. So two negatives can't make a positive. You can't do something wrong and then do something wrong behind it and then expect to get a positive result. That would be irrational. That would be idiotic. You would look at that person as, oh, you're insane. You're crazy for thinking that. But many of us subconsciously, indirectly, subliminally do this thing every day. We assume that if we just put on the look, the image of doing the right thing, we wear the suits, we wear the dresses, we wear the outfits, we put on the filter, so to speak, of doing the right thing, being positive, being a positive person. But our actions, our intentions, our inside self, our inner self is negative. So our actions then start beginning negative. Everything we do it with a little chip on our shoulder. Everything we do with a little grudge. We always got a little envy, a little jealousy with it. We dip it in poison every time we speak. We sprinkle it with toxic words. We sprinkle it with a toxic tone. We condemn and we are condescending in how we speak, but yet we give the image and we portray that we're trying to encourage, but yet we give underhanded compliments. How can that reap positive plants or positive fruit or positive growth if you're planting negative seeds on someone who didn't even ask for it? But yet it's done in the face or in the dress or in the suit or in the filter of or in the image of positivity or in the image of being a peacemaker. It's in the image of these things, but the actions prove that the nature of the things is not positive. So we must be very careful about what we take in. We must be very careful about what we allow in. We have to have self-control. Being a positive person means you have to take control over the thoughts that you have. You have to take control over the words that you speak, the actions that you use. You have to be very careful about the environments that you allow yourself to be in. You have to be very careful about the places that you, I wouldn't say just allow yourself in, but you even choose to be in as well. So you have to be very careful about both of those things. You have to be careful about also the people that you associate with. They all can have a positive or negative effect on you. Whether it's small and minimal or it's on a major or extreme level, there is an improvement or decay from everyone that you encounter. The choice is yours, though, to look at it from a positive standpoint, which leads me to that third P, which is perspective. Your perspective is so key, and I leave it as the third P because once you have the basis, which is peace, you have a peaceful intention. You're at peace with yourself. You're at peace with your growth. You're at peace with the way things are. And you're at peace with it's going to take a process. And once I do the needed steps and do the needed duties to get me to where I need to go, yes, it may take some time, but I'll make it. Because I'm going to be a positive person. I'm always going to have a positive outlook. I'm always going to look forward and I'm going to see where it can go. It then allows you to have a different perspective. If you have a positive perspective, you don't look at things as negative. You don't then look at these moments of challenge, these opportunities of growth. We don't look at them as bad moments and bad days and miserable times and sad moments. These are an opportunity to grow. These are opportunities to learn. These are opportunities to become who we say we wanted to be. A lot of times we get overwhelmed when we begin projects, but we have to understand and rationalize that we have to change our perspective. We first chose this particular project, we chose the endeavor. So if we made the decision to choose to do it, when it becomes overwhelming, then that means we must be either doing the right thing or not doing the right thing, but we must adjust. We must identify where the opportunity for growth is, not criticize ourselves and complain about the problem. We must be solution-based thinkers. We must look forward to find where we can figure out the goal, figure out the pathway in this maze of life. We have to not just stop at the dead end and quit. We have to navigate. Maybe we have to back up a little bit, take a couple steps back, take a break, reanalyze, re-strategize, replan, and then attack again. Many times we encounter, and this is why environment is so key, and why your words and the things that we hear and consume are so important, that we filter out and sort out what's good and what's not beneficial to us. The reason for that is because our perspective can be shaped by our environment. If you're in a box, if you're in a box of complacency, if you're in a box of poor work ethic, and all you see around you are individuals who have poor work ethic, they don't get ahead, they have small gains, but then they end up losing it. But just all you see, all you read about, and all you think about, and all you have been told is that it's okay to dream big, but once you dream big, just know that you're coming right back where you started. If this is the box that you grew up in, your perspective is shaped on that. So when someone introduces you to something of abundance, something to let you know that if you take the risk, this what can happen. If you were to take the right precautions, you'll never return back to that box again. It may be uncomfortable, but it's going to be something worthwhile because it's going to take some time. You've been doing the things in this box for centuries. It's now time to step into a different box that is bigger, that has no walls on it. It's an invisible box. You're free to roam as much as you want to. You're actually not even in the box. You stepping outside the box. I want to put it that way because once you free yourself of the control of others, the influence of others, and allow yourself to be influenced and inspired by the universe, and inspired by the creator, inspired by the one that created you and gave you the inspiration, and allow yourself to be molded and shaped in positive environments, and moving with peace, and having the right perspectives, and then choosing the right thoughts and consuming the right things, and then reaching and achieving goals, and not wondering how it's happening, but just understanding that the reason why it's happening is because you're taking the right steps. At that point, you free yourself of the imprisonment of other people projecting on you. Many times the perspectives that we have aren't ours. Many times the perspective that we choose to have is really those of others that we've convinced ourselves must be right because this is all that I see. But the moment that you expose yourself to other things, your perspective on things automatically change. This is why words are so powerful. If you ask somebody how their day was and they're only limited to a few words, they're only going to tell you or speak to you in the manner in which they can. If all they know that their day is fine, but they can't describe to you what took place because they don't have the words that are compatible to articulate those events that took place in their life, at that point, how could you really sympathize or empathize or assist? But if you are able to expose an individual, that same individual, to more words, to more ways of describing things, and you were to then ask them that same question, how was your day? They may then give you a different answer. They may give you a more direct, detailed explanation of what they feel and what they saw, what they felt. So your perspective is shaped by all of these things, which is why I leave that as the third P in the 3 Ps, because perspective, once you have found peace, once you're moving with positivity, you then can have a perspective that has been shaped and molded with the energy and the atmosphere of growth, with the energy and the atmosphere of self-development. At that point, you can then have the motivation, the inspiration, the constant and consistent push and drive in order to reach your goals. This particular subject is very close to me. Again, this is something that I always leave all of my podcasts, all of my posts, anything that you will see me in is always coded in this particular model of peace, positivity, and perspective, the 3 Ps. I've put together a book, an ebook that I'm making available this month as well. Be looking out for that. Make sure you tapped into the Instagram, the Silent Conversations Podcast. We're getting the website together. Look out for that. A book is called The 3 Ps, The Keys to Having a Better Day. Basically highlighting in detail what we spoke about today in the 3 Ps, breaking down how to reorganize your thoughts and your mindset into a more positive, into a more peaceful, into a better perspective, in a sense that you don't have to look at things the way that people tell you to look at things. You can look at things the way you need to look at things in order for you to grow. Don't allow people to stunt your growth. Don't allow people to tell you how things should go when they've never experienced it. How things went for them is not how things will work out for you. So definitely look out for that. The 3 Ps, peace, positivity, and perspective. I appreciate your time. Thank you for tapping in. This is my first live on the podcast as well. This is the first live podcast. I appreciate everybody that supports the podcast. I took a month off just to kind of get things more organized, clear my mind, get some peace of mind for myself as well. But we're back at it. This is the month of May. This is Mental Awareness Month as well. So definitely make sure you tap into your mental health. Take some time out for yourself. I'm going to be delivering a lot of content that really focuses on mindset. That's really what self-development starts at, is mindset. And then you get into being able to achieve goals and being able to monitor your success, being able to be consistent in that success. And we'll get into all of that throughout these conversations that we have, the guests that we have on as well. Look out for that as well. We're going to be bringing guests back to the show. But as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you for tapping in to the Silent Conversations Podcast. It's your brother, Silent Sound. And as always, peace, positivity, and perspective. And just remember this as well. Life is about growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. Everything on the planet that is alive is growing. So always think about some way, what opportunity are you going to take today that's going to help and benefit you so that you can grow tomorrow. So tap in. I appreciate you. Signing out.